My first overall play is going to be Greg Joseph over 5.5 kicking points. I'm going to show you why here in this video. Throughout this video, we're going to be putting together a 5-flex PrizePicks slip because 5-flex PrizePicks slips provide the best bang for your buck here on this fixed payout platform. In these videos, we cover every single fixed payout platform that you can take advantage of in the fantasy market. Similar to sportsbooks where they set their lines independently, they also don't adjust their juice. They don't adjust their payouts. So theoretically, you can pair any one of these player props together, hit the over, under, it does not matter, but at the very end, the payouts never change. It's always going to be 10x for 5 out of 5. It's always going to be 2x for 4 out of 5, and then 0.4x for 3 out of 5. Now, why this is beneficial to know is because each one of these fantasy apps, they all set their lines independently. They all set their projections independently. So the edge is not actually predicting the game, right? Casual sports bettors always try to predict the outcome of the game. How would that have went if they tried predicting the Jets and the Bills game yesterday? If you told me Zach Wilson was going to play 4 quarters, I think anybody in the entire world would predict at the very end of the game the Bills would have won that game. Well, guess what? It didn't end up that way because generally, in the long run, the average sports bettor does not beat the juice in the long term, meaning that there's a sportsbook tax that they have on each one of these player props that allow them to stay ahead. If I were to put 2 people into a 2-man power here, this only pays 3x, which equates to pairing 2 minus 136 implied odds in the sportsbooks together in a parlay. That is very, very heavy juice. Think of it like a tax. When you walk out of a restaurant, you know that you're paying tip, tax. So think of a sportsbook as providing some sort of gratuity for each one of your picks that you're putting into a 2-man power. Because of this, usually the average sports bettor is going to be a long-term losing bettor. The edge is not predicting the outcome of the game. The edge is observing the market, see where there's soft projections, see where there's discrepancies, and attack quickly. Because we know these projections, they adjust very, very quickly throughout these fantasy apps for this reason. There's a lot of sharp bettors within the industry. So what we're going to be doing today is looking through the fantasy market for any kind of discrepancies that we can find in NFL, MLB, wherever the edge is. We're always going to be scanning the market and looking through these different projections. One tool I love to use is called the DGFantasy Optimizer, where we scan all the sports books for their projections, and then also the DGFantasy middling tool, where we can literally find discrepancies within the market, find discrepancies where you can middle. And I want to show you guys this edge because once the fantasy apps drop their opening lines for NFL, for MLB, whatever the sport may be, there's usually some sort of discrepancy that you can take advantage of that's mathematically profitable in the long run. I'm going to show you an example yesterday. So yesterday, the NFL lines for week 2 dropped, which is freaking insane. Like they're already dropping on PrizePicks on Underdog, and we were able to find discrepancies. And keep in mind, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, so this was yesterday. This was before the Monday Night Football game. And these apps are wild. Like they're trying to gauge an audience, and they're trying to engage you guys and try to get you to their sports books before anybody else does. So this was a slip that I entered. We have Geno Smith over 235 passing yards, right? That projection was dropped on PrizePicks. However, when we flip over to Underdog, they set their line to 255.5. Doesn't matter. Whatever you think is going to happen in this game, it does not matter. Long-term profitability depends on actually finding middling opportunities in the market, finding discrepancies, and attacking, right? So we have 2 different projections. Doesn't really matter what sportsbook is naturally the sharpest. All we know is that there's a 20-yard discrepancy. As you can see, 235.5 here on PrizePicks. And on Underdog, set to 255.5. That's a 20-yard discrepancy, guys, 20 yards. That means if Geno Smith finishes anywhere between 235 and 255, you're going to win on both apps. You obviously have to hit the rest of your legs, but you guys get the point. Hitting one leg on each app is a huge edge to start out your slip. So again, that's just one of the examples that I have. So if we want to go back here and actually look at where Geno Smith finished. Geno Smith, if we search up here, still 235 here on PrizePicks, and then got bumped down to 240 on Underdog. Now, there's a 5-yard discrepancy. Obviously not a really big mathematical edge now, but PrizePicks is still pretty soft. So again, just by scanning the market, we were able to identify, hey, Underdog, you have a very, very aggressive line, and now it's gotten bumped down 15 yards. Think of it as like a PrizePicks taco, except reverse, right? You're hitting the under. So a 15-yard discrepancy bump, you're already getting that mathematical edge by just observing these opening lines. Who cares whether he hits the over or under on any specific app? We're looking for a 20-yard edge. And if you consistently do this over the long run, you're going to remain a profitable sports bettor. Let's take a look at my slip again and see what else we found out just by observing the opening lines here in NFL. Daniel Jones opened up at 198.5 on PrizePicks, and on Underdog 215.5. So what is that? I can't do quick math. That is a 17-yard edge here on the under for Underdog. So again, if we go back to the market here, go back to the middling tool, and we search up Daniel Jones, looks like all projections were removed here from Underdog and PrizePicks. So it's funny because now they're afraid to set the line again because there's such an edge, and now they're kind of second guessing themselves. And you have to look at the edge as observing the market. You cannot try to predict it. Like obviously in Daniel Jones's first game, it was a disaster, right? We all know that. But he's not going to go back out and throw for minimal yards again. At least historically speaking, that rarely happens, right? So anyway, we're observing the market. We're seeing where the discrepancies are. My last play that I found out in the slip was on Underdog, Christian McCaffrey, lower than 78.5. And if we were to take a look here, I wasn't able to actually snipe out Christian McCaffrey's edge on the slip. He actually got removed. I believe it was like a 15-yard discrepancy for a running back, which is freaking insane. Anyway, these are the slips. Doesn't really matter what happens. All I know is that I have a mathematical edge in the long run. I don't really care how they play out. I'm going to sleep well at night knowing that I had that really good edge here. More specifically on Underdog, it looks like they adjusted closer to PrizePicks' projections. And all I did to find these NFL discrepancies is I was scanning the market here on the DGF middling tool, where it observes the projections, the juice between all these fantasy apps. So we're going to go ahead and build out a slip today using starting with Greg Joseph's projection of over 5.5 kicking points. I'm going to show you why this is a mathematical advantageous play to take in a 5-flex slip. So if we go ahead and filter by NFL, we can see all these player prop projections on PrizePicks, and then their immediate one-to-one comparison here with all these sports books. So at the very top, no surprise, is going to be Greg Joseph over 5.5. He also is evenly matched here on the sports books. A lot of people take that knowledge and they're like, okay, well, if it matches, then there's no edge. That's not true. So each sports book, they charge on a price. I talked about it. I compared it to that tax earlier when you pay at a restaurant or a gratuity or a tip, right? Each sports book is penalizing their sports bettors by taking the over here because per their projections and per the percent odds to hit for Greg Joseph over 5.5, they're saying, hey, we don't want to give the sports bettors an edge, so we're going to go ahead and penalize them. But if you go ahead and enter this in a 5-flex PrizePicks slip, if you click on this drop down here, it shows the plus EV plays for each specific slip type. You're getting this at minus 119 implied odds compared to the average market of minus 140. So you're just getting better bang for your buck. And keep in mind that the sports books are always going to beat the long-term bettors, right? More times than not, 99% of them, right? Unless you're betting like this. So my strategy and a profitable sports betting strategy is to take this exact play here, Greg Joseph, as a one leg, and enter this into a 5-flex or a 6-flex slip. If you do this in any other slip type, it's not going to be mathematically advantageous. For instance, if I select the 2-man power, well, guess what? That's not really a good play. There's no mathematical edge here. But if I select a 5-flex slip, as you can see here, very advantageous bet. Now, unfortunately, this is the only NFL play that is going to be profitable in the long run if you were to select it right now. But we can go ahead and select all sports that are available on PrizePicks because I'm going to go to the value where the value is, right? And we actually uploaded, this is relatively new to the DGF optimizer. We actually have combo props now, which is freaking insane, where we take the implied odds of 2 individual legs, we find out the percent odds to hit based on those individual legs into a combo prop. Because PrizePicks, they offer a combo prop market, which is very different from any other market on the sports books. But we do have that market knowledge with those individual player props. So we also have fantasy score markets where we do the exact same thing. Bryce Harper, we know that there's a player prop market here on DraftKings that are involved in the multipliers and the fantasy score. So if DraftKings had a fantasy score market, they would be setting their fair odds line to minus 123, which outweighs the implied odds of minus 119. This is obviously another long-term profitable bet. So I'm going to go ahead and select Bryce Harper, hit the under of 8 fantasy score. I know casuals will hate that because Bryce Harper is naturally a good player, but we're going to go ahead and scroll down here. I see Trey Turner, and the reason why I'm going down to Trey Turner is because this is another under from the same exact game and the same exact team from the Phillies. These two are positively correlated on the under. The worse an MLB hitter does, like the less hits he gets, the less opportunities he gets on base, then he's also going to affect the performance, the at-bats, the total at-bats, right, organically as Trey Turner. more or less opportunities here if they both suck, which is what we're hoping here. They're both plus EV plays naturally. The exact juice, ironically, here at 8.5 for Trey Turner. So there's positive correlation. And again, PrizePicks does not adjust their payouts for most markets, for most correlation. So if we go ahead and we throw in Trey Turner, this is a positively correlated under for fantasy score. We're going to hope that these guys suck here versus the Atlanta Braves. So now that we have 3 player props here over that 54.2-ish% that you need for 5 flex slips for minus 119 implied odds, that's the fair odds percent for them to be profitable, we're going to find 2 more here to complete a slip. And now we have that organic correlation, so even slightly higher. What I want to do is I want to switch over to the middling tool, and I want to show you guys how I observe the market, and more importantly with the esports market, because there's always really good discrepancies. So just here to show you, Annie here from Valorant looks like the better play is going to be an underdog. We see a 31 projection, a 31 here on parlay play, but an underdog, you can hit the over here at 29. This is obviously a very good a very soft projection here on underdog. And this is how I scan the market. Obviously, Wonderful is not a good play on PrizePicks. Neither is this guy or girl. I think that's a girl here for Valorant. Another pretty good play here on Hot Streak. And then we have a 1-to-1 comparison. Alkia. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take that player. Looks like another a girl player here for Valorant. And again, all we're doing is observing the market, finding the discrepancies, finding that edge, and we're going to go ahead and throw her into a slip. And we're going to be hitting the under here on 35 map kills, hitting the over on underdog. Hopefully that lands, that projection lands on 34-35. You technically win both bets, as we mentioned in the very first part of this video. And then we also have one last play here, Ramses 666. Oh boy. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and put the under, thankfully, the under on this player for Dota. That's another esport. So we're going to go ahead and throw Ramses 666 into a slip. And this is the strategy. This is how you use technical analysis, not fundamental analysis, to find the edge and the slips that you're playing on PrizePicks. And I want to show you more of an edge by just finding value across the market for specific DFS apps, like on Underdog, like Parlay Play. We're going to switch over to a site that's naturally pretty soft in terms of their projections. I'm going to go ahead and scan through the NFL plays and give you guys some more NFL plays on Parlay Play. If you have not signed up for Parlay Play yet, be sure to use code DGF for 100% match up to $100. We're going to go ahead and observe the market by looking at the optimizer and the middling tool for Parlay Play, and more specifically looking to find some NFL bets. Hopefully we can. I know that there really hasn't been that much of an edge, and it looks like there's a slight edge here for Parlay Play. The optimal slip type is going to be a 6-man insured slip. Why I love Parlay Play is because they offer very soft lines and projections. Equates to minus 113 implied odds per leg. And that is literally the best in the entire industry. You get the best bang for your buck for any slip type over the entire industry for entering a 6-man insured slip on Parlay Play. We're going to go ahead and start out here with AJ Brown, under 5.5 receptions here. That is a small mathematical edge. We're looking for anything over 53%. I'm trying to give you guys some NFL plays. This gives you a 0.01% edge. So for what it's worth, slight edge, we're going to go ahead and deselect, or we're going to go ahead and select every single sport, look through the market, look through scanning the market here, and also by using the middling tool. And right off the rip here, we see Chelsea Gray said the 12.5 PRA on Parlay Play, but on PrizePicks and Underdog set to 11.5. So there's a small mathematical edge here as well. Sorry, 12 rebounds in this says not PRA. So we're hitting the under there on Chelsea Gray because there is a mathematical edge to be had in the market. They offer a more aggressive prop per looking at this. Let's go ahead and switch back here to the Parlay Play Optimizer. I want to go ahead and just rifle off some of these plays because there looks to be some really good plays. Aaron Judge over fantasy score set to 10. Fantasy score market, as we already talked about. We break down and we automatically show you the edge using this player prop odds that they have on the sports books. John Means. Looks like the strikeout prop of 3.5 is being set across the market. Slight juice on the over, but you're still getting that 0.5 discrepancy here on Parlay Play. So we're going to go ahead and hit the under here on John Means. Switching back, Justin Verlander, same exact thing. Slight juice here on the over, but you're still getting that 7 strikeout here number on Justin Verlander. So we're going to go ahead and hit the under there. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays. One last play. And Dylan Cease looks like his strikeout prop is going to be set to 7.5. We get this at 7. Let's go ahead and hit the 7 number on the over on parlay play. And that is it, guys. That is how you remain a profitable long-term bettor. If you guys did enjoy this content, please do hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future MLB, NFL, and WNBA content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.